So like iakongoi, like you always teach me, right, as a brethren, that all the houses in I and I Father's mansion, Naya Bingi, Bobo, 12 tribe, the whole of them need to come together as one collective, right? With the RMC, like deal with it I and I as the parent, we're responsible for some of I and I duties and things, and we communicate with the RMC and any other Rastafari organization that's out there supposed to do likewise. So we're communicating on one network. What you say, my brother? That is the point.
Well, that is the point that has been pushed for quite a while.
Right.
The thing is that you have other groups now that has established themselves, which are saying that the RMC looked like it's defunct or wasn't doing anything. But there was so much work the RMC did in the background, even taking the Jamaican government to surge, to the United
Court.
Nations
Yeah.
to say discrimination going on against Rasta. The RMC is the one that put the little monkey wrench in this whole thing about Pinnacle, whether it's a heritage or a monument, because we need to get Rastafari IP understood by the Rastafari masses and community properly. So when we deal with other governments, as a government from within the government, we're dealing with it with diplomacy and with knowledge of what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with personal. We're dealing with the collective nation's benefit or loss. So when we as leadership make these deals and these connections with governments, we got to look at the collective gain or the collective loss
And
or interest.
and don't you think we should approach this with the indigenous rights
Of
as a
course,
self-government,
of course. Well,
Rastafari self-governance?
of course. Well, the indigenous rights right now is the only way to approach this. Everything else is deals, and the deals you're making for ganja, and that you can have what you call this thing, a dispensary, or that you have the Sacramento rights.
License to
All
do
of these
this.
things are kind of illusionary when it comes down to sovereignty and self-governance. We as Rastafari, if they accepted us as a face, they knew we sold the weed and we smoked the weed. If they accept us as indigenous, then they knew we smoked the weed and we sold the weed. How can they then exclude the selling of the weed, yet tell us we can smoke the weed? We didn't need nobody to tell us that it's right to smoke or not to smoke. We were doing it and you were calling it and criminalizing it. So how could you say you're decriminalizing the marijuana now, yet you're telling me that 2 ounce or less is still ticketable? That's still a criminal offense. And anything above it, then you can carry me in and lock me in. But other than that, a ticket will be given. A lot of Rastafari's, even police, don't understand that trickery in the legalese
So,
of those terms.
so they have us in a gridlock.
Yeah, they have us playing games with us.
So what about this thing about the RMC and the RMO want to come together and reason about the same structure that I just asked you about?
Well, what I'm helping to implement, because that's kind of role I play, like an advocate counselor in between. So at this point, we are working on what would have been a tripart, tri-unity phone call, Zoom, between the Ancient Council, the RMO, and the RMC. That's still in the making. We're working on that now.
Yeah.